Okay, so I'm just doing this for my own personal reference because I don't know what I wrote down. So this is what I just wrote down, and it's gonna probably look like a bunch of squiggly lines. Maybe I could screenshot this after, and get the light a little bit better on it. So hold on a sec, let me see. Okay. Just doing this so I can get a screenshot of this after, or so people can on the, whoever wants to look at it afterwards. Okay, so let me go through this. So I just jotted this down in like 10 minutes, so I don't exactly know what the heck I said, not even 10 minutes. So I don't know exactly what I said. And this isn't meant to be a presentation, but I'm just using this as personal reference. Okay, so the electromagnetic multiverse from Heath MacArthur's perspective, 2021, month of September, dated 25th day. 1. Theories. Electromagnetic current controls gravity. Okay, so this makes sense. And then I got the chart here which shows that it's a grid of, so yeah, it's mapped out into a grid which is controlled by satellites, and the satellites have magnets in them that are rotating, and the magnets all ping information off of each other that are circulating planet Earth, floating around sending signals and communicating with each other all around our globe. So this is what I got here for this, but I think this is kind of how you can measure gravity. Okay, so electromagnetic current pulses control the universe. So pulses, so pulsating currents. Marks friction. Marks friction and creates, something about friction and creates energetic pockets. So I guess somewhere within this grid, that's the satellites create this grid around planet Earth, there's controlled energy in these pockets in around the grid, I would imagine. So it would be pockets of energy that are dispersed around. So you would think that each time that a square meets, there's going to be a little dot where there's a pocket of energy that's kind of compressed, like a big pocket, but until you tap into that pocket, so that pocket would almost act like a little jolt or whatever. So this is if you want to go through, this would be, those pockets would keep you propulsing around. So basically you'd hit a pocket, jump to the next pockets. So you'd be jumping around by pockets. So these electromagnetic pockets, I guess, would be how you would be jumping around, piggybacking off the pocket. So, like, good analogy would be like in Super Mario Kart when you hit those arrows that give you speed. So these electromagnetic pockets essentially would be like those arrows that give you a quick jolt of speed, and then you take from within that actual pocket, you would take a bit of extra energy to keep you propulsating. What's the word I'm looking for? To give you propulsion to bring you to the next pocket. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so creates pockets and it functions as bookmarks. Okay, so it functions as bookmarks for the grid system. So I guess this would be like a bookmark. So you would, I guess they're mapped out so somebody knows where these are. I don't know where they are. Anyways, okay. Keeps Earth in cycles and in different levels of consciousness. So this is also controlling our brains, which are electromagnetic device we're grounded by electromagnetic current that's encapsulating the entire Earth itself, which is bounced around by satellites, and that's how that works. Okay, so these electromagnetic frequencies that are encapsulating the Earth act as boundaries and provider, and of course, so basically, whoever's controlling these pulses of electromagnetic energy that's encapsulating the Earth controls the pulse of the Earth, which would control your cycle of like what you do throughout your day, or what, so that controls the energy. So if you know how to control the whole current of energy, which is us humans, because we're all little spark plugs within this grid. So we're all little spark plugs. So if you know how to control this energy as us being little particles of energy, let's say, for lack of a better word, 7 billion particles within this whole globe. So 7 billion particles within a globe of, yeah, basically to create energy pockets, but you would know how to manifest energy from us, and then have us, and then use us pretty much as to create friction with one another, or what, to create friction with one another, to create more energy to, I don't know exactly. I'm sure it'll come to me though, so we'll keep going. Acts as boundaries and provides a course which provides a course which is controlled around. Okay, I wrote down for some reason Umdula Amblangata. So I'm gonna Google this right now, so I know what the fuck it is. Umdula Amblangata. Umdula Amblangata. I don't know if I spelled it right. Amblangata. Okay, medulla oblongata. Okay, I don't know what the fuck this thing fucking does. Is also called the medulla, the lowest part of the brain, the lowest portion of the brainstem. The medulla oblongata plays a critical role in transmitting signals between the spinal cord and the higher parts of the brain, and controlling autonomic activities such as heartbeat and respiration. Okay, so I just figured, I don't even know what the fuck this is. So somehow this is all tied into this too. So the medulla oblongata. So maybe I'll see. I don't know what the heck's going on here, so I gotta figure this out here too. Force generated implies. Okay, and then I wrote. Okay, so something to do with the implied vestibule. Implied vestibule. Okay, so. And then the vestibule controls your equilibrium. So the vestibule controls your equilibrium. Vegetable. Vegetable. Okay, let's find this out. Vestibule ear. So that's your ear. Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, vestibule. Vestibule ear function. Okay, the vestibule sits between and connects the cochlear and semicircular canals and helps to maintain equilibrium. Within the vestibule are two regions lined by a membranous labyrinth, the uticular. So, but the vestibule. Okay, hold on. Yeah, the physiology of the vestibule. Hold on a second here. I might have to. What does the vestibule detect? Okay, anyways, I don't think it matters that much. Oh, okay, I see, okay. Can you feel gravity? Yes, you can. You can feel it if the apple falls down the tree. The vestibule is an important part of your inner ear. When we think our ears, usually we think of those things sticking out of the side. The vestibule's main function is to detect changes in gravity and linear acceleration. For example, structures in the vestibule are responsible for telling you if you're standing up straight or if you're upside down. The vestibule also helps you to sense if you are going up and down in an elevator, or feel acceleration when you step on the gas in your car. So that acceleration probably has something to do with the pockets in the electromagnetic grid. So this is probably how gravity works anyways. So yeah, we kind of got the idea there. But there's more to it than that, I think, though, because just gotta figure this out. Vestibule function, yeah. Okay, the vestible's primary purpose is related to your position in the world. Each part of the vestibule continuously sends a signal to your brain and changes in velocity or position, either strengthens or weakens the signal sent. This in turn is translated into your brain into your sense of equilibrium. The vestible's primary purpose is related to your position in the world. Each part of the vestibule continuously sends a signal to your brain and changes in velocity or position, either strengthens or weakens the signal sent. This in turn is translated in the brain into your sense of equilibrium. So let's just sit on that for a second. Okay. Improvisions to what system? Okay, so they know that. So how this ties into nanoparticulates is nanoparticulates are like sprinkling little aluminum dust everywhere, and this dust basically it's just another grounding mechanism which further keeps you in that electromagnetic state. So if that electromagnetic state, which is not your actual formless form, which is we're all formless when it boils down to it, but our form here relies a lot on whatever the fuck it's called, electromagnetic energy. Bunch of stupid names that I can't pronunciate right now. Okay, so this is the part here. So this is the matrix configuration. So this is just what I jotted down, wherever I got this from. Okay, light plus frequency, electromagnetic force plus friction. Okay, plus friction. Satellites and static space and time. Okay, space, electromagnetic force and friction. Okay, so, okay, I kind of got this now. I don't know where the light comes in yet, but the light's probably, guaranteed the light has something to do with your optic nerve, your vestibule, and your glandula mangata, which probably has something to do with the way that you stand up vertically and how you perceive everything. Okay, let me see here. What the fuck does this say? Okay, electromagnetic force plus friction. Okay, so electromagnetic force and friction. So that would just basically mean figuring out how the grid itself around the Earth is aligned, and then creating friction that goes into these pockets. So some sort of a spark friction, I would imagine, or maybe it would be static electricity, some sort of a static friction to sort of tap into these pockets that are already assimilated around the grid system. So these little pockets of energy that I was talking about. So if you know where they are, you can kind of have a sense of where they are sitting at, or you figure out sort of, I don't know how you would do this, but I'm sure it's probably pretty easy to figure it out. Then you would basically figure out a way to create, when you hit one of these pockets, to sort of create a bit of a static electrical current. So when you hit it, that it kind of explodes or gives you enough to keep you propelled to where you got to go, to keep you beating gravity, or to keep you out of that gravitational pull, which is what we have here on Earth. Is this gravitational pull, which is electromagnetic frequency or currency or whatever, that electromagnetic force. It's keeping us in this gravitated state sort of thing. Okay, so in order to get a hold on gravity, where you don't need to, where you're not using a combustible engine, or just an engine which is like little bursts of energy, which is basically essentially created by gas and then friction. A combustible engine, you guys know how a combustible engine works on that, and creates, burn fossil fuels. This is electromagnetic energy, and how we use electromagnetic energy. And the Earth's natural grid system, or no, it's not natural. It's not natural. The Earth's grid system create energy out of this grid system. So this is how we get the energy out of this grid system, and how we use the energy to not have gravity, to eliminate gravity, or to use gravity to our advantage. So positive and negative polarity, light and dark, so it's all works together. So you need both. You can't have no gravity. You need both, obviously. Okay, so this is how I understand how you would measure how to get rid of the gravity in any space or any room. And I would also imagine this would be dimensional travel, or dimensional, how you would interpret dimensions. So however you would interpret different dimensions and different, I'm not exactly sure, different bands of frequency, how you would interpret different bands of frequency within an electromagnetical grid. Okay, so this is how you would do this. So you would light plus frequency, band measure, scale, pitch. Okay, so somehow you would have to be in a room, let's say, and you would have to I'm not sure. Space, time, band measure, scale, pitch, resonant frequency, electromagnetic force. So you would have to figure out a way to tune a room, light plus frequency, electromagnetic force, to measure, scale, pitch, resonant frequency. Yeah, so you would have to figure out a way to, okay, there's got to be a way to do this here. Hold on. Measure electromagnetic force. Measure electromagnetic field. Okay, so measure the, EMF detector. So you'd detect the electromagnetic force. So I mean, yes, there is something that, so you would figure out, okay, so you would get a room, let's just say you get a square room. Find out the electromagnetic force in that room. Obviously, there's different places on planet Earth that have more or less electromagnetic frequency or force. And you would go to that spot, or I don't know exactly what situation you would have to be in to measure. I'm sure there's a lot of variables, but this is just an outline of how this would work. So you would measure the electromagnetic force in that, I guess this could apply to anywhere. So you would measure that electromagnetic force, and then you would use the tuning fork technology and resonant frequencies. I would imagine you could do this with different metals or different crystal or metal. I'm not sure what kind of crystal or metal. People already know this stuff. This is just coming back. I don't know. So crystal or metal, you would tune that to the room. You would put some sort of an object in the room. I don't know if this is good. I'm sure everything has some sort of charge in it. Anyways, this is just to propel. So depending on what object that you're trying to get to go to where it's got to go, it has to be tuned to a different frequency. So you would, okay. So you would figure out the scale and the pitch of this object, or even a human body, or whatever you need to tune to in this room, given the electromagnetic frequency. Then you would cause some sort of static friction or static electrical charge. And then you would figure that out via the EMF frequency reader in the room of the exact frequency that it's tuned to, given on the harmonics. But then you would have to encapsulate a little bit of space, and it would, yeah, this is pretty easy to figure this out, I think. And then measure and tune. And then, so yeah, and then, okay, so, and then anything around this atmosphere, let's say, or once you know how the grid system of planet Earth works, so it's all on a grid, so that, the the numbers within the grid of electromagnetic energy wouldn't change anywhere. They would all be within the same parameters given any location. So then you would have to so you would have to basically figure out the amount of, I'll come back to this, figure out the amount of electromagnetic force coming out of this, that you would have to tune this object to and have coming out of this object, or whatever object it is, to work within the Earth's already resident electromagnetic force, because it's a resonant electromagnetic frequency, although it changes from time to time. But you would just have an instrument like an EMF monitor that measures this, and then you would be able to tune that specific object, or have that specific object constantly pinging like a tuning fork, pinging these frequencies out of it, so it would just ping, ping, ping at the same rate of pinging every single time, which are the pulses, which are hertz. Hertz is the same thing as pings per second, or whatever the heck it is, right? So you're looking at RPM, so you just ping every 2 seconds would give you that. So if you have something that's sort of on a clock or whatever, like a ting, 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 sending these frequencies out, hitting the electrical magnetic grid, and then it would sort of create a vortex around it, because it would be pinging from, you would have these things set up and pinging from different places, and also having things to have that sound vibrate and ping out at the same rate and amount of pings every sort of time, right? So it would create this force around you that would work with the electromagnetic grid in the direction that you wanted it to go, and then find out where these pockets are or whatever. This would obviously has been done before, but it's just, this is the way that it works. And then this object would be pinging, so it would be going ping from there, ping from here, pinging from here, pinging from here, picking up on the electromagnetic frequency, and then it would go to wherever it had to go. And then you could control the pings by basically, if you wanted this to turn, you would have this ping, say turn down the upper right ping, or whatever, the upper right ping, so you turn it down, and then it would go this way and work with the electromagnetic grid that the Earth's already on. So that would be how anti-gravity works, according to the grid of our electromagnetic grid. So if somebody can figure all this stuff out, good. It's out of my hands.